Hello, welcome back to Blender Stable Live. This is gonna be a quick video. It's the first look into the latest version of Dream Texture add-on for Blender. I talked about this add-on in the past, but the development of this add-on and also with the AI generations image is actually really fast in the last few weeks or few months. And we are now having this version 0.0.9. And what's exciting about this latest update is that we can use Stable Diffusion 2.1, and also we can use this feature called depth to image that's now being incorporated with Blender, so as an add-on. So thanks to Carson Katri, and you can download this from GitHub, or you can also give a donations. I think this add-on is also available at Gumroad or Blender Market. You have to check it out. So first of all, you download the latest version of the model from the release. I'm using Mac OS M1, and I think this add-on should work perfectly with M1 machine. So 0.01 with the latest version of this add-on, we can do this texture projection based on the depth, and this is using the depth to image. It's actually very cleverly implemented. So let's take a look at this. What's going on here? First of all, I have a basic primitive, just like some boxes, and I use box cutter to do like a quick cut and extrusion and inset. So very basic. And just place Susan head there, just for fun. But and then what happened next? I set up some kind of camera angle. I'm actually using this stored view add-on, which comes with Blender, so I can just always go back to the same view. So that's really important because we want to do like texture projection, but we are projecting like a AI generated image on these 3D objects. So what we have in the end is just you know, something like this. So of course it's not perfect, but I just want to show you the demo. There's a few things that I think the projection is a little bit off. I don't know why. Maybe it's there's a slight bug, or maybe I didn't do it properly. So I have 5 different examples here. Each one of them sometimes is one of them looks more like sci-fi, maybe a little bit like modern, and you know, like gentrified building. This one is more colorful. But there's a few variations, yeah, and it's been projected on these basic primitives. So let's go back to the view. Yeah, that's why I keep mentioning the view is important. And also, if we want to use this add-on now, I will show you. It's a little bit slow on my machines. I think it can be faster. There's actually another method that can run this a lot faster. Currently, if I just run this, it's gonna be a bit slow. Okay. Let me show you anyway. It might also crash my machine because I'm doing recording, etc. Let me try anyway. Futuristic, highly detailed. Okay, this is the prompt, right? This is the prompt that I wrote. I just copy paste from Lexica, and then I just pick, okay, I want this to be like an environment, fantasy, sci-fi. Let's try cyberpunk. And there's this negative prompt that you can write down, ugly, blurry. Maybe you want to remove things or add things. The size is set to 512 by 512. If I go any larger, it's gonna crash. I mean, my machine cannot handle it because my RAM is only limited to 8 GB. 512 to 512 and times 512 is okay. I can always upscale it later. Yeah, and then everything else should be fine. I just need to select my objects. I have a bunch of objects, right? Select all by type mesh. We need to be in edit mode, and then select the face. And we are from this view we're gonna be doing texture projections. I zoom in a little bit. It's really up to you, but basically it's gonna calculate the depth. I try to make it square as much as possible. I don't know, I can move this a little bit, doesn't matter, but this 3D view screen needs to be square as possible. Project Dream Texture, okay? and then now it's requesting redraw, and this is gonna take a while. Unfortunately, my machine is not the fastest machine, but anyhow. By the way, okay, the model we are using needs to be this Stable Diffusion 2 with depth from Stability AI. Okay, we need to have that model, and that model is actually pretty hard. The first time you install it, if I show it to you here, the first time we install it, we need to make sure that you have this model. You need to search the Hugging Face hub and then find the model that has depth. You can, in the future, we might have multiple models specifically made for depth to image generations. Okay, I already have this installed, so we can actually just simply use it. The other model that we used in the previous video, we use prompt to image. The standard model 2.1. You can actually just type a text and prompt what you want to generate. That's another thing that I can talk about. If my machine is actually a little bit faster, I can show this a little bit better. There's an yeah, once you have that, you download the model, you are ready to go. I'm using the Apple Silicon. I might need to install some dependencies that I forgot to do. Maybe that can make things a little bit faster. Anyhow, this add-on, okay, yeah, now it's running, right? It's gonna go from 1 to 25. Yeah, it takes a while, maybe 8 minutes or 10 or 12 minutes, I don't know, but I believe it can be faster, like 4 minutes or 2 minutes, maybe not 30 seconds, but it can be faster. There's another method. If I want to show it to you anyway, it might not be possible because it's too slow. There is another method that you can do using Web UI automatic 1111 depth. I talked about this in the previous video, right? Remember, you can have like a flat photograph, and then based from that flat photos or image or drawing doodles, you can estimate the depth and then use that depth and then send it as an input for the AI generator, Stable Diffusion 2.1 image, and then you can prompt like different things. So similar to what we are doing here inside Blender, the add-on handles the depth, of course. We didn't really see the depth, but it's doing its things underneath. Anyhow, if I can keep talking, but I don't know if my video needs to be shortened, but we're gonna see a result. Okay, anyhow, one of the result, if we actually switch to the textured mode, if we go out of this mode, it's still doing the processing in the background, right? I can switch to the textured. Oh, yeah, because it's doing the render. I can switch to the textured, but I think the rendered, yeah, it's currently pink because it's creating a new material and still doing the AI thing. We can perhaps just what should I do now? Maybe I should wait. Unknown pass. Maybe it's still rendering, or yeah, I think still rendering. It's not that long, but okay, maybe I should show you something else while it's doing its thing. I shouldn't. Maybe I should keep the view while it's running, but anyhow, I will show you the process, what I do. I mean, this is if you are setting up the block, yeah, you can use this add cube. It's actually really fun, and definitely it's like a 3D therapy. Like I said many times in many video, I could just make video of me doing this building block, you know. It's a little bit like doing a Lego, yeah, Lego pieces, and you can just make things you can stack things, you know, like you can actually hold options and you can stack things. What are we making? I don't know, some kind of Frankenstein looking building, monster building. If you check on the internet monster building, you will have this crazy building that is in Hong Kong or in many urban city with many people, and where everyone needs to live. I don't know, it's really crowded. But yeah, let's say you actually, this is really good for concept. You can procedurally generate this, but I don't know, you can copy the prompt here, copy the prompt, for example, and because you like that monster building and you want to kind of recreate that look just for a concept, you just paste it here. Okay, and then yeah, you need to go back to that view, but this building block is not complete. Of course, there isn't much detail, so you probably want to use an add-on like box cutter or grid modeler and start making a cut. For a quick one, I like to use box cutter, but also grid modeler is pretty good for that. You can make like a quick cut very easily, or a quick slice like what I just did. Yeah, you know, making slices is actually really fun. Highly recommend it. It's a stress-free kind of activity that you can do inside Blender. Box cutter is not free, but yes, there's a cost, but still pretty cheap. And yeah, you can make random cut like this. Box cutter works in object mode. With grid modeler, you work in edit mode. Yeah, if you don't have those add-on, you can of course do things like inset, you know, like basic stuff, but still kind of fun to do. And there's of course a lot of features of box cutter that I didn't show you here because I only know the basics, and it takes a while actually. There's a learning curve, but still it's fun. It's pretty fun to do. So what I'm doing here is making like a crazy looking architecture there later, but this is for later, you know. This is just another creations. I can join them as a single object or keep them separate. I just joined this one. I can show it to you that we can just simply reproject. So we lost our view. That's why you need to use this stored view add-on. It comes with Blender. Stored view. I talked about this add-on in the previous video. Stored view comes with Blender. Just activate it so you can save the view. So the idea is to get the depth of this 3D imagery and then project your dream into it. Yeah, this definitely takes a while. Maybe I should stop right now. But yeah, I can do a render. A render is gonna be, the result's gonna be a flat image, but then you can always bring it into Stable Diffusion depth. That's the one that's handling depth, and it's gonna generate and predict the depth for you, and then you do the prompting. That's actually a lot faster. The one that's Carson Katri made, I think the add-on is running too slow, 8 GB. But if you look at there's a video by Default Cube. I forget his name. Lucas YouTube video. Maybe I should supply that link. So while this is still rendering, I don't know, it's gonna take 15 more steps to get a result. Yeah, maybe it's too slow. Maybe I should stop in a bit. Anyway, the inputs can be depth or depth and color. Okay, if you have some kind of flat image, you can actually enable depth and color. So you can start with just a flat image, and then it will try to generate a new imagery based on that flat image, and then you can it's gonna reproject it. Here we actually have a 3D objects, right? And the result's gonna be 3D, but it's gonna be the texture is gonna be projected from that view, and then after from the projected result, you can bake it back into the model, and then you can maybe do like a repainting or do like a proper detailing. So this is good for concept anyway. At the moment, 512 by 512 on my machines, that's the limit. Maybe you can use that. It's not gonna be like detail, it's gonna be like low resolutions, but you can use that as a guide for you to do like a repainting, or yeah, maybe a little bit Photoshop, or like maybe use other software to do like proper PBR stuff. But yeah, it's just like a method, you know. It's just like it could be like just like a starting point. You can of course say, okay, this is gonna be the final thing, but it's not really, because it's like a dummy or like a rough version of ideas that when you want to create. At the moment, I only have 5 different results, and each one of them, you know, it's just super basic. But still, it's just a really good way. It's a really cool way, because we are using AI and we just do like a prompting, and we have like, we can come out with hundreds of ideas. I think I can do like a batch render overnight. Maybe 100 ideas is pretty good. Overnight, it's gonna generate 100 ideas, carry it in the next morning, and then you can kind of develop on that. With recently, you know, on Twitter, we heard a lot of noise that a lot of these human artists, they don't like it. Like they said, okay, we are anti-AI, we don't want AI, we don't want to see AI stuff kind of cluttering the art stations. Maybe in one point, I mean, we should have like a filter, you know, like tells people this is AI generated concept, and this is like human made concepts. So maybe so the art stations website won't be cluttered. And when people search for, I think they're gonna be like two group of artists in a way. 3 group, you know, is some of them like to just manually paint, some of them actually use prompting, and then other method. In a way, it's gonna be kind of blurring. You know, like 2D artists who cannot use 3D can learn a little bit of 3D, and then 3D artists and programmers who normally just work in 3D, they don't do like concept painting, you know. They could learn a little bit of concept drawing in the end. Everyone seems like everyone can do like prompting, yes, but then to make it looks nice and to make it works as like a 3D asset is something else. I mean, of course, you can just prompt it and get the result like a photograph or like a character design. That's it can take you pretty far, especially if you use something like Mid-Journey. But Stable Diffusion is like, of course, the open source alternative, and also DALL-E. I've been using this AI stuff, kind of exploring for the past few weeks, maybe a few months, but I found a lot of interesting things. So it's good not to make judgments too early, because it's still like a new tool. Some people might actually like make copy or style from certain like famous artists, and some artists are not happy because, oh, okay, you use AI to make a copy of my work. So that's kind of ethically, that person is wrong. Okay, so if a person use AI to make something that looks like another artist's works without giving credits or even like giving commissions to, that's kind of wrong. So it's back to the person who is doing a copy or whatever they're making. For me, I'm doing this because I'm making YouTube content, and also I'm kind of like I like to explore things, like exploring new tools, and then also slowly, you know, turning myself into a real artist, or you know, like, oh, maybe I just like to direct, you know, I just make kind of art or direct a movie, because I have few ideas that normally if you have an ideas, you write down your ideas and then you write things like a novelist, or maybe like making like a storyboard and then scribbling. You don't see things, but you know, with AI you can get a little bit of helps to turn your ideas into some kind of visual like storyboard, and that's also kind of, you know, it helps in a way if you just work alone. Even, I don't know, I have conversations with friends who are not very techy. I have also conversation with friends who is really into AI, some friends that's actually like just drawing things. Okay, anyway, I talked for a long time just to get this result. Okay, when you get result, very quickly the next thing you need to do is to save. Okay, save, because it doesn't save. If you close Blender, you're gonna lose this render that takes so long time. Okay, now that we have something, I can continue talking. Back to our view. Okay, from this view, everything should looks correct, more or less. If I select my objects, okay, select all my mesh, and then if I hit tab, select all, I want to see the UV. Okay, the UV looks like this. If you know Blender and knows there's in Blender you can actually do projection mapping, but it's a little bit old school and kind of behind in terms of workflow. You need to, I think there's another add-on that allows you to do proper projection mapping, but anyhow, I think the projection mapping for this add-on needs a little bit of tweaking. It's not perfect, and it's not guaranteed that you're gonna get something that's 100% match the silhouette of these objects, right? Maybe we are not there yet, but we have something. It's a little bit off. It's not 100%. There's some kind of perspective. I don't know why it's a little bit weird, but at least it's doing something, and we get a result. And yeah, Suzanne is not regarded as Suzanne at the moment. It's just like it's turning it into like a plant or flower. Anyway, yeah, we get something that looks correct from one angle. It looks gonna look bad from other angle. The UV is gonna be all mess up. We need to do proper baking. So if you have these multiple objects and you want to properly bake what we see here, you cannot just do that. It's just the UV is becoming a single object because we are doing projection mapping. But you can always bake it, redo the UV, and then bake this result into the UV. This is only good from one angle anyway. But if you are only doing a simple camera angle like this, you actually have something that you can work on. Maybe you need to do like repainting. You can actually export this out anyway. You can export this as AR, and you can see, okay, you will see some kind of result. Very rough, but yeah, still, this is a really interesting workflow. It's kind of new. It's really new. So yeah, people shouldn't make too much judgment on things because it's new. There's a lot of work to do to fine-tune the model, but the AI can be really helpful. It's not something that you use to copy other artists. That's like very low effort. A lot of artists want to improve their skill, but while at the same time they can get help from AI. Okay, so something to keep in mind. I like to say that anyway. So yeah, I think, yeah, okay, this add-on, this is of course the first look into this add-on. Give it a try yourself. You might need to have M1 machine at least with 16 gigabyte, or M2 or M2 Max or M1 Max. It's gonna be 10 times faster than the one I have here using iMac. The resolution's 512 by 512. It's pretty low. We get a low res, but we can always do a repainting. So we get the result from projection mapping. And what else? If you do a render, okay, if you do a render from that view, you can actually use that flat render and then use it in Stable Diffusion depth. Just a different method that I talked about in the previous video. I might actually do that and create 100 variations of this thing. Okay, so yeah, okay, I think that's pretty much what I want to talk today. So thanks again for tuning in, and hopefully this video is useful. Give this a try yourself. Give donations to Carson Katri so he can continue developing this add-on. But very cool add-on. I really love it. I wanna kind of need to explore, because there are a few other things that I haven't touched, like this AI upscaling. I haven't tried that. All right, so thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.